On record. So, do you understand, do you recollect what we are studying? Teaching of a great master, Astavakra and Janaka. Yatra Vishwam idam bhati kalpitam Rajju sarpavat Ananda Paramanandam Sa Bodha Tvam Sukham Char. If I translate literally into English, and then we will understand this verse. This is the 10th verse, and in the first chapter we are understanding the very nature of the real self that dwells within all of us, and that is a common element. So if I translate, here the translation differs. He says, you are that consciousness which is full of joy, which is full of supreme bliss. Then what is happening? That I am not feeling well, I have problems. It is a superimposition. It is my false nature created by the mind that blames and complains, sometime about the world outside and sometime about myself. It complains about the body. It doesn't mean that I am the body. Do I remember that? When I remember that, then there is no problem. Now see another translation. That in which all this appears. That. What is that? That real self. So Master is saying that real self in which all appears. It's a beautiful translation. I like this translation by another master. So that means real self in which all this appears. What this appears? My problem, my joy, my conflict. I'm not feeling well. I'm feeling well. I identify with the body. Sergey was saying, my dad, my relations were talking. It appears in the imagined like the snake in a rope. That. And who is that real self? It is the joy. It is full of supreme joy. It is awareness, is what you are. So Master is talking about the nature of the real self. Everything is happening in that real self. So if I discover who the real I is, there is no problem. Everything is happening in the water. Remove the water. Where is the ocean? Where is the wave? Where is the flood? Flood causes problem. Storm, wave, ocean. So what the Master is saying, everything is happening in that real self as imagined. He is going deeper in every verse. All that appears, what is appearing? I am talking, a speaker, you are a listener. Everything is happening in that real self. You build a house, beautiful house, you demolish a house. Where it is happening? In the space. Does anything happens to the space? Nothing. Again, pick up. We have to contemplate and reflect again and again. I am not feeling well. Who is not feeling well? Let me take it. Body. Who experiences the mind? Am I the body? Am I the mind? You just become aware of that. Maintain that awareness for a while, and you will see that feeling good or bad has gone. Then what remains? You have some challenges in the body. Take care of that. Get ready. but don't lose hold of that joy. Take another example. You go to the crockery store, you buy the beautiful crockery set, you bring it home, you are using it, you are enjoying, and it is broken. We feel pain. Master is saying, but where is the pot in the clay? There is no pot, it is imagined. So he is using the word, it is imagined. It is imagined by whom? By the mind. Why the mind imagines? Because mind is seeking, searching happiness outside. The mind is searching happiness in the spouse. It is imagined happiness. Happiness is not there. Are you getting it? Oh, I will have a new smartphone. Imagined joy in the smartphone. Imagine joy in the wealth, in the clothes. Same thing in the body. Are you getting it? So he is explaining the very essential nature of the real self. What is that? It is pure consciousness. He clarifies, it is pure consciousness, it is full of joy, it is full of supreme joy. Is there any time that it goes away? No, it never goes away from our life. It is what we are. We are the supreme bliss. We are the pure consciousness, but we consider we are the body, then we have a problem. Then we consider we are the mind, then we have a problem. So there is a catch in it. Our master explains in other texts, so I'm bringing that teaching to make it clear. We have essential properties and we have a superficial properties. Essential properties remains as it is. It does not change. What our physicists say, matter is neither created nor destroyed. Energy is neither created nor destroyed. It changes the form. So that form, that name, that color is the superficial property. Essential property is energy, is matter. Just to give you an example, same thing. Our essential nature is all pervading, full of joy and happiness, love and wisdom. Superficial properties. Today I love you, tomorrow I hate you. Today, oh, you are a beer guy, you are a great teacher. And tomorrow, you are a crazy guy. Superficial. Superficial properties. Do you understand that? Do you getting that? So when the mind says you are good today, you are bad tomorrow, take care of the mind. Don't start taking care of the other people. You are a seeker. You are on the verge of a self-discovery. Dad, you are very good today. Dad has to be always good because he's it. It is my mind that perceives wrongly. That has a wrong perception. That has a false perception. You see, that is why we have a problem. We date. Everything belongs to you, honey. Then we become a soulmate. Who changes? It is the mind that has changed. Soulmate becomes sourmate. And from sourmate, what happened to that dating? Soulmate and honey. So honey is stuck either with the money. Honey is either stuck that now you are not giving me any kind of a pleasure. Now I have an ego sense. You don't follow me. My expectations are not fulfilled. Hence, let us separate. I have to take care of this crazy head. That is the problem. Only the superficial nature in us is changing. What is that superficial nature? The body, the mind, the intellect, the ego sense, the thoughts, everything that is changing in me. Can I become aware of my real nature? So I take back the translation by this master that in that water I imagined a sea, an ocean, a wave, a foam, a flood. Remove the water, nothing exists. Nothing exists. So going little deeper into this sutra, this verse, so he says, this imagination that I'm not feeling well, I'm good, I'm bad, you are good, you are bad, all these comes from the mind, from the thought process. So when for a moment I become aware, let the thought come and go. I need not to do anything. The more and more I become aware of the changing pattern of the mind, of the body, of the situation outside, I will settle into my real self, and settling into the real self is what meditation is. That leads to awakening. So he gives an example, a beautiful example. That example is given by all the masters from the teachings of the text. He says rope, snake, darkness and light. So in the night, I'm walking, I see the snake, but that is a rope. It is not a snake. Now use that in our daily life. I am not feeling well, I see the snake in a rope. But first understand this example. So I'm walking in the late evening, it is a night, there is a rope, but I see the snake, and then I get scared. I'm full of fear. I'm on defensive. And then I switch on the light and I see it is not a snake, it is a rope. So it's a simile. Now understand how to work with that simile in our day-to-day life. Snake I see in ignorance. Ignorance means I do not know my real nature. When I do not know my real nature, then what I feel? I am the body, I am the mind, I am this thought, I am hatred, I am jealousy, I am duality, I am conflict. So that is the snake. So when you have a snake, then what happens? You have fear, you have anxiety, you have duality, you have a conflict. So, how the ignorance can be removed? By knowledge. What is that knowledge? I am not the body, I am not the mind, I am not this thought. Mind is saying, you are crazy. No, even this is not me. Hold on. Let me become aware. I am crazy. No, this is also not me. Why? Because this is imagined in the mind. Why it is imagined in the mind? Because of ignorance. What is ignorance? Incompleteness, I know something about me, but I do not know my real nature. Are you getting it? So when I don't know my real nature, then this snake appears in my life as ignorance, and it is the snake that causes the problem, ignorance, duality, conflict. So beautiful that you have to think and let me know in our next session. When I see the rope in a light, there is no snake. It is 100% clear. Clear? But still, I see the snake. So mind has imagined the snake. But why the mind has imagined the snake when it is not a snake there? Why the mind imagines I'm not feeling well, I have lot of problem in my life. Why I imagine? I imagine because I live in ignorance. One part of it. But I have seen the snake in the past. That is why I imagine the snake. Isn't it? If I haven't seen the snake, how the mind can imagine the snake? You see how the master put forth the argument to make us understand? If I have not seen the snake in the past, how can I imagine it? So it means it is my past impressions. It is my past impressions. I have experienced pain and suffering and anxiety and reaction and fear. They appear as a snake. They causes the impurity in the mind. You remove the impurity in the mind, settle into meditation, you are awakened. In the Mondays and Thursdays session, we understand what is mind by default is habitual, instinctive, and impulsive. It is an animal mind. That animal mind fights for survival. We have a human mind. We do not work with the human mind, and then we fall into ignorance, and that ignorance causes the suffering. Are you getting it? So even if we take again what the verse says, So can it happen just by listening to me? No. If you are a seeker, you contemplate and reflect during the real life situation. I give an example the way the Sargi was explaining. How I was thinking. You see, that is what the contemplation. On Mondays and Thursdays session, do you still remember the 4 steps? Listener, speaker, when there is no listener and speaker, and then you allow the mind to play with these principles at any time. Even when you are sitting in a restroom, you become a bathroom singer, peace is my essential nature. And then wait. Mind says no, how it can be? But you have these principles to clarify the mind. Ha yatra vishvam idam bhati. The way the entire world we have created for us. What is that word? I am a professional, I am a family man, I have a spouse, I have the kids, I don't have the kids, I have wealth, I don't have. All this we have created. The world for us in our mind is all imagination. Is caused by the ignorance. Bhati kalpitam rajju sarpavat. So the master is saying, you are seeing the snake but it is a rope. The moment you realize that it is not you, none of them is you, then what happens? You need not to do anything. You are in a joy, Ananda Paramananda. You are in a joy, you are in a supreme joy, you are pure consciousness. So then what should you do? Be happy. That is meditation. We have done. We all are awakened. So let us start our practice now. Even it is a non-practice and still we will do the practice. Eyes are closed. Eyes are closed. So this is a practice and still it is a non-practice. How your mind responds when I say it is a practice and it is a non-practice. See that? Means what? You need not to do anything at all, my friends. Then why the hell we are sitting here? Why the hell I am listening to you? Because there is something left of ignorance. We need to remove it. So eyes are closed, looking at the body. Looking is not doing anything, my friends. So you are looking at the body from the crown of the head to the toes. Crown of the head to the toes. The moment you see, you find the steadiness in the body. You know that snake visiting in the body stops. If you really see, if you are really aware of the body, that is the way the seeker should be. That is the way the seeker should be. And then you are looking deep inside. Where you are looking? You are looking deep inside the heart. But where in the heart? In the space. And then you pick up a point in the space. You just pick up a point in the space inside the heart. The way the mind tricks everything in our life and causes the ignorance leads to suffering. So we are also tricking the mind. We say, look inside the heart. In the space, you look at a point in the space. That is all. The moment you look at a point in the space inside the heart, you discover it is a spark of the calmness. We get a glimpse of it. We get a glimpse of it. What the Master is saying, behind all this, the world created by the mind, there is a real self. So we simply want to know. Being comfortable. Now see, look at the head and the neck. Just be there. You know, that happens when the mind is pure, means not distracted by the stuff created by the mind. Then you are looking at the head and the neck. Be there, feel, and you see there is a sensation, being comfortable and steadiness. Then looking at the right arm. So when you are looking at the right arm, you are aware, you feel there is a sensation, being comfortable and steadiness. There are two approaches. One approach, we do it on Mondays and Thursdays, and this approach is different. So now see that you look at the left arm, be aware, feel their sensation, being comfortable and steadiness. So the mindset settles into sensation, being comfortable and steadiness. Wonderful. If it does not settle, why? Because the mind wants to rush outside. The method approaches on Mondays and Thursdays. See that? Hundreds of approaches. Now looking at the rib cage, being aware, just aware, and in that awareness we experience sensation, being comfortable and steadiness. Are we doing anything? Keep the mind free. Make it sure that you are not doing anything. Looking is not doing anything. Ears remain open, and it receives the sound from outside. So, we are human beings, we are conscious. So in that consciousness you are receiving from what I am talking, and you know it is there. Look at the belly all around. Be there, feel sensation, being comfortable and steadiness, my friends. The right leg, you just casually you're looking at the right leg, feel awareness, sensation, being comfortable and steadiness. So whatever it is you are experiencing, that is all. Left leg, be there, feel sensation, being comfortable and steadiness. The entire body, from the top of the head to the toes, sensation, being comfortable and steadiness, being carefree. Whatever comes from the mind, good, bad, high, low, thoughts, feeling, past, images, are all snake. Does the snake exist? No. What should I do? Should I fight with the snake that does not exist? See that. That is the point of awareness this master is talking about. Know it. This is not you. And that is what is being carefree. I have been explaining how the birds flying in the sky that displaces the mind, and the birds are the thoughts. The birds never touch the sky. Or you can take up another simile. You are standing across a road watching the traffic. Traffic is a thought. The mind is standing behind the mental traffic. Or thoughts like ripples, waves on the surface of an ocean. Deep inside, there are no ripples. That water is calm. The water appears as waves on the surface. The same water appears as calmness inside. It appears tricky, but nothing is tricky. It is the way we express in Eastern wisdom. Means you have said goodbye to whatever is changing in the mind. Your experiences, your thoughts, your feelings are all snake according to this verse, according to the teaching of the Master in this verse. My friends, we have so-called, if I say we have practiced, I'm using the word deliberately, we have practiced seeing the snake for days after days, weeks after weeks, months after months, years after years. This mind does not realize. One does not want to realize. That is why regular practice with the wisdom, it does not realize. So we say, come on. In that state, become aware of the world around you. At this moment, the room, the items, the objects are present in that room where you are meditating. Not only you become aware of these objects in the world, but also become aware of the mind that is looking at these objects. So that mind is the physical mind. It perceives all the material objects, including the space. Now, look at the physical body, the body that we possess. That body, mind claims falsely that this body is alive. Bodies are made up of matter, carbohydrate, protein, fat, minerals, organic and inorganic chemicals. So why it claims that this body is alive? Because it says, this is me. You see? So you drop the wrong notion created by the mind by knowing. So now look inside. So when we look inside the body, we encounter the breath. We claim this breath is a life energy, the life force. Let us keep looking at it. No focus, but keep looking at the breath, awareness of the breath. And also become aware of the mind that is looking at the breath. It is one mind, but the way the mind looks at the object of the world, physical world, is different than it looks at the moving breath. Our goal is to find out who is the seer, who is the knower. Here, in other meditation, we check the quality of the breath, the rate of the breath, the rhythm of the breath, and how long we are doing it. It is breath mindfulness. No, even we are not talking of the breath mindfulness. We are knowing who is looking at the breath, who is the looker of the breath, who is the knower of the breath. So I phrase it, it is the subtle mind. It is not the material mind that perceives the world outside. Why? We will get an answer. Now, deeper than the breath are the thoughts, our experiences, images, feeling, duality, conflict, all pleasure. That is what we experience in the mind. But who is looking at all these experiences? It is the subtler mind. Subtle mind was looking at the breath mouth. This is the subtler mind. So what means? Any experience comes. You may feel kind of sweating or heat, sudden upsurge of images, vision, colors. Let it happen. So where you are aware who is looking at these experiences. You don't give any value to the experiences. Let it come and go. They will come and go. How beautiful the experience would be. You see that? You may have the most wonderful experience by possessing a big house, the costliest smartphone, the best luxury car. It is an experience. They will come, they will go. They cannot stand. They are not permanent. That is why it is a snake. So subtler mind is still looking at these thoughts, feelings, sensation, experiences. They come and go. They are changing. We understood. Whatever is changing is superficial nature. In that experience, how sweet it is, sweetness is somewhere else. Sweetness in a candy is because of the sugar present in it. You may have the most colorful candy without sugar. It is not candy. Now go deeper than all these thoughts and experiences. The mind says there is nothingness. Be there in that state of nothingness. The infinite space. And become aware of who is looking at the space. Should I give you a surprise? It is infinite, all pervading space because I see nothingness. And who is looking at that infinite space? It is awareness. And what is a surprise? Awareness is the space and the space is awareness. They both are one. What? Yes. Just check it. I'm not saying what I'm saying is right or wrong. Just check by yourself. Let me make your mind understand. There is a physical space. in which all physical objects are located. You, your body, my body, your house, my house, your car, my car, etc., etc. Physical space. Then there is a mental space in which all our experiences are there. Good, bad, high, low, pain, pleasure, beautiful, wonderful, crazy, all experiences are there. From only the mental space, I become a good person, I become a bad person. I feel insulted, I feel good. Mental space. Then there is a space of the real self. That space is awareness. What is real self is pure consciousness. So by the previous device or the step, I took your mind to that space. I did nothing at all. So in Sanskrit, one master explains Bhutakasha, physical material space, and we are 100% sure about it. Where are you sitting in a space? Where is your house in the space? Physical space. I attach to this physical space, I become blind to the mental space and the space behind it. Is it a snake? Yes. That is what we understood. Well, some people are able to go into the mental space. Then they separate the mental space from all the experiences happening in the mind. You hate me, you will blame me. So hate happens in the mind, blame happening in the mind. You love me, you will appreciate me. Both are happening in the mind mental space. And behind that. So some people live only into that space. Yeah, the outer snake has become little less poisonous, but still it is. Now we go behind the mind, the space of the real self. So here, that very space is awareness, and the real self is the pure consciousness. That is what we see, the objectless state. That is why the Buddha says emptiness and nothingness with reference to mental space and the physical space. What I have to do to remove physical and the mental objects? I have to do nothing, because this space is different, separate, independent. This is what the Master is saying. Ananda, Paramananda, joy, supreme joy, Bodha Tvam, you are pure consciousness. In Ananda, in joy, in supreme joy, what should you do? Be happy. Finished. What a beautiful verse. We did nothing. Means we are not asking the mind to do anything. You become aware of what the Master says. I'm repeating it. That real self, so he says, real self, he uses the word that. That real self in which all this appears. What appears? All the experiences of the mind and the mental space, all the objects of the world and the physical space. I'm translating that verse into your conscious experience. That means that real self in which all this appears. What appears? All the mental experiences and the mental space, all the physical objects of which we are attached in the physical space, appears. What appears is imagined like the snake in a rope. But that real self is a joy, is a supreme joy, and awareness is what you are. So what should we do? Be happy. I told you it is highest teaching of the Eastern wisdom. This is one way to present. Other text presents in a different way. Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Our master says this Om sound continuously happening in the third space inside. So that becomes the practice of Nada Yoga. Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Become aware of your right hand. Become aware of your left hand. Lift your both the palms, place it on your eyes. Inside the palms, open your eyes and ask yourself, what is your experience to share in progress? Bring the hands down. How are you, David and Jerry?
Yeah, I really enjoyed in the space and the awareness area. I was very, very deep, but what I did notice is my body was extremely heavy and my body temperature dropped significantly.
Wonderful. You see that understanding is required, and then understanding leads you to the awareness. Beautiful. How are you, Jerry?
I'm doing well, sir. I was quietly observing and listening. And just from that space, I think, that you're talking about. The last few meditations have been from a different space, and maybe the space you've been talking about.
Yes.
Lots of heaviness and cold again.
Yeah, heaviness and cold. So we let them come and go. Now see, what is heaviness and cold? It is experience in the mind. So where my awareness went, it picked up the mental space and the experience. I have to remain behind it. And we were behind it. We are there. How are you, Stephen?
I'm good. A very deep, quiet meditation. I felt that I immediately dropped into this space that you are talking about and realized that I had no feeling of a physical. Everything, it was like myself. It was just my mind and the space that I was in. And it was nothing until the point that you said, okay, nothing, not in a bad way, but just quiet, realizing that it was just my mind and empty space. And then when you started the chanting of the Om Shanti, I was overwhelmed with the cadence of your voice and the vibration throughout my entire head.
That's
and I just felt this peace going on. It was just really nice. Thank you.
It's a really deeper experience. Yes, we are picking up the things. You see that? Can I maintain awareness all the time, the physical space and the physical object? It's not a practice. Mental space and a mental experiences. And then the real self. The innermost space is nothing but it is awareness. And from where that awareness comes? From the real self. What is the nature of the real self? It is pure consciousness. What is the nature of the pure consciousness? It is a joy, it is a supreme joy. So is it a practice? No. But as long as the mind rushes outside, we need to do it. Where you are, Sam?
Hi. So today I felt that most of the meditation was up here. I wasn't thinking about anything. I just had. It's almost like I was at my friend's house last night, and we made a fire, and I was watching the little sparks fly around. And when I was in my head, everything was just flying around in the inside. I was feeling things up here. But just a lot of different senses up in the feeling around my head, and but there were no thoughts. It was just that, and it was really awesome.
Yes. No thoughts. Obviously, it gives you that sense of peace and the calmness. Good. How are you, Sergey?
It was very calm. I felt heaviness in my neck and my head. No thoughts. I just hear your voice, and it's like deep hearing voice, heaviness, and it's kind of in the middle of go to sleep and being awake.
Being okay. Yeah, I could see there are moments of sleep wakefulness. That is a term used in modern psychology, that the state of sleepiness and still I'm awake. You see that the physical space and the physical objects, the cause of which is the mind and the mental space. And the cause of the mind and the mental objects, which means experiences, is the last space, the innermost space and the real self. What we understood, if there is no water, forget about an ocean and the waves and the flood. No consciousness, no awareness, no real self. Forget about mind and the mental space. Forget about the physical space. Nothing exists. Can I live into that state all the time? Then we are there. How are you, Vivek?
Good morning, Hariom. I mean, today I felt like inner peace and selflessness, and yeah, initially I've also felt something, some vibration in my hands and some burden kind of thing on my arms. And then after that, it was like I found something, inside me, like some peace. And very, yeah.
Yes. I'm just saying out of the context. Before that, you were doing all the different crazy meditation practices. So when we do the crazy meditation, we are bound to be crazy. You see, I'm not explaining everything, but so I'll just put up Vaibhav, how are you?
So it was very nice when I settled inside in this space. It was very, I feel like I'm very free right now at that moment. And during those periods, Even my eyes were flickering, feeling very cold. But I was not bothered about that. I was just inside and just feeling that I'm very free right now.
Very good. Beautiful. That is also, you see that is what we say. What does it mean by the tradition? Tradition means that there is a method, there is a process, there are steps to find our true nature. Who teaches it? A teacher belonging to that tradition. But what the teacher has to teach? The teacher has to refer to that traditional wisdom that is scribed in the text. So if I am not teaching as a teacher from that traditional wisdom, it means I do not follow the tradition. So when I do not follow the tradition, then I will add lot of crazy stuff from my end. I have lost the tradition. It will not bring the right result. That happens, Stephen, in every trade and every profession, in every business. Now, this is not a business, but I'm saying that happens in every trade. You see that? So sometimes people do not understand. They say, no, we follow the tradition. No, we have to strictly follow as a teacher. Why? So that the teacher has a freedom to explain the concept clearly, openly, freely, without any ego sense. This does not belong to me. You listen to it, you understand it. You don't want to understand it, do not understand it. That knowledge does not belong to me. How simple it is. Any question you like to ask? No question. That is all for today. We will meet on Monday. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Namaste.
Namaste.
Namaste.